It is going to be a touchdown. The Jags are going to win it on a Ray Sean Jenkins pick six.
Oh, my God. Look at that. Show it again. Show it again.
An all-out blitz. The ball comes out and is picked up. The Jags are running it back. The Jags are running it back. The Jags are going to run it into the end zone. Josh Allen scores a touchdown. Josh Allen is running back for a touchdown for Jacksonville.
I've said it many times. I'll say it again. It's like a great gravy. You know, you could have an average piece of meat, and if you put amazing gravy on top of it, you'll eat every bite of it.
You have faith in yourself. You have faith in each other. You keep encouraging one another like we talk about all the time, and you believe. You know, belief is about understanding that you can get it done, right? And then it gets done, right? It just can't happen, and then you have belief, right? And that's what faith is about. And you guys have it.
Always the Jags.
Get ready, Henderson. Get ready. The slap finna happen. We been a slap, tap, whap, tap, tap, tap.
This boy got a hit.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your host Mike Dempsey and E to the T.
All right, good morning, everybody. Fat Tony is officially on assignment until next week. MD along with ET and Double D on his way. Not yet, ET. ET had to take a peek around the corner. How you doing, man?
You know, good money, man. It's Wednesday, hump day.
So you're rocking the White Sox hat, right?
Yeah.
Is what you've got on there. Will you have two of them,
Yeah.
or do you get a free one?
No, I just have two of them. Just over the years, I've accumulated. I probably have more than two. But
Why do you have them both with you?
Because Jeff and I were doing the long hat summer, and I have a couple of hats that I have two of them, so I just wanted to show, hey, I got two of these hats.
Okay.
No reason for it, really.
Didn't in the Public Enemy movie, what was the name of the Public Enemy movie that I can't think of the name of right now?
Straight Outta Compton?
Straight Outta Compton, right?
NWA movie?
Was that? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. That was NWA,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Didn't the guy who played Ice Cube wear that hat in it, but that the logo had not been in use at that time?
It was either
something like that.
It was either this hat or the Raiders hat.
Was it? No, I think because the Raiders logo hasn't changed in forever.
Right.
Right. And he was wearing a hat in that movie.
Yeah.
That I read so right over here. Yeah, empty space on the other side there, Donovan Darius. That it was a logo that did not come into existence until after that movie was taking place.
Really?
You know? Not the first time something like that's happened. You know, there's plenty of things like that in movies that you just kind of roll your eyes. Like, you ever see Braveheart?
No.
Nah, probably not. I'm guessing that's a no.
Color,
Mel Gibson.
Blueface, I think.
Yeah, Blueface, Scotland, the whole thing, right? Freedom. Right. I actually went there right to the actual place where that battle took place.
Okay.
Like when we went on a tour, but they didn't wear kilts back then. Like, and they're all in kilts because you expect Scottish people to be in kilts, right? But that was not what they wore. I don't know what they wore, but you know, it's weird things like that. So what can I tell you, E? I'm off to a great start this morning. Double D, how are you, man? What's going on?
All is well, man.
Oh, you got to get your live video. Yes, Donovan's most important thing. If it's not happening on his video stream, it's not happening.
It didn't happen.
It's kind of how it is. You
can
can also watch the entire show on the 1010XL YouTube channel.
You can watch both, man.
You could, I suppose.
Both,
I suppose you could. Where do you post that?
I post them on Facebook.
Live?
Yeah, Facebook Live. So this is Facebook Live right now this morning.
All right, well, thanks for coming in today.
Oh, no problem, man.
Going to hang out for the whole show or most of it?
Yeah, most of the show around 11:30. I have an appointment I got to make at 12, but I'm here, bro.
You got to bug out a little bit later. We'll check in with Mike DeRocco, ESPN reporter, covering the Jags on OTAs a little bit later on in the hour, but it's kind of that time of year. I saw Clay Harbor, former Jaguar, tweeting out, is he the only one more excited about OTA football than the NBA playoffs? I'm excited about both. Like, I think you can multitask, but I guess if you're, kind of weighing it, whatever, you feel how you feel about things. And, do we overemphasize OTAs? I think football fans at this time of year are so hungry for any kind of reporting about what's happening on the field,
Yeah, I don't think you overemphasize. I think the fact, like you said, last year, especially for us, how we ended the season on the win, going to playoffs, getting a playoff win. I mean, guys are, the city is just really hungry for success. I mean, we owe it to the fans. I mean, to have success, with the Jaguars. And so, to be able to come out now OTAs and see, wait a minute, are they rebuilding? Who did they add to the team? How is that going to help us? And everybody's in their mind is just envisioning having success. And so OTAs is the first opportunity you get a chance to see the kid.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. Like, if you're in a stretch of bad years, like, all right, OTAs, and your whole, like, we've done the show for years and years now, and there have been plenty of times when you're just like trying to look for a path to relevancy for this football team, and I don't think that's the case right. It's gone from, I think fans feel they're relevant, to just how good can they be dominant. Can they be an upper echelon team in the National Football League? But one thing, I was talking with Dan Hicken before the show started on Crosstalk just a few minutes ago. You're on 1010XL Double D, is that I saw a piece over at NFL.com that ranked the top 10 most complete or most balanced teams. I'm not sure how that. I think it was complete teams. So and mostly focused on offense, defense. I think even at NFL.com they'll overlook special teams at times. But I'm not surprised that the Jags don't fall in there, right? Like the emphasis is the Trevor Lawrence-led offense could hang 30 a game. That's how people feel, and the defense has a lot of catching up to do. How good is a big question here, but how good can this defense be? How much improvement do you expect to see second year in Mike Caldwell's defensive system?
I mean, I look for a lot of improvement. I mean, I know last year was the first time that they really got a chance to really come together, especially with Trayvon Walker coming on board, trying to solidify that defensive front, the defensive line, and then, we had Shaq go down. And so the secondary was always kind of rotating who was going to be in there. And so to be another year under Coach Caldwell's defense, it definitely helps. It definitely helps because every defense is similar throughout the league, but then there's also some different little things in between based off of personnel. And so I just think, his defense is solid. It gives the guy, from what I see, it gives the guys an opportunity to run around, have fun, and also create plays. And the guys just got to do it. And so I'm looking forward to them building off of what they did the year before. Every year, I can always remember always looking back at the year before and seeing what we did and individually and saying, okay, what can we do collectively and what can I do individually, to help myself create more plays? Because at the end of the day, that's what this game is about a lot of times on defense. Who can create the bigger plays?
Did you feel like you got better every year of your career, at least up until a certain point? And then, did you reach a point where you're like, if I can maintain where I'm at, that's probably the most realistic. You know what I mean? Like you look at LeBron now. LeBron is not going to be better if he comes back next year at the age of 39 than he was when he was 28 years old. Unlikely anyway. But, you're more knowledgeable. You improve in different ways. But did you feel like you were able to do that? 5 years into your career, do you think you were still an ascending player?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. And I think it takes an understanding of what does it take to be good and then what it takes to be great at this level. And so to every player, it's subjective and it's relative. And by that, I mean that it's relative from the standpoint that you can always improve yourself when you look at yourself. So I would go back and I would look at myself from the year before and I say, okay, from a speed standpoint, how can I get faster? From a reading standpoint, how can I read my keys more? How can I get faster with changing direction? How can I get better in man-to-man? How can I get better just understanding the intricacies of the game? And so I would do that. I would say, okay, how many interceptions did I get one year? What can I do? What can I do to get more interceptions this year? Now, granted, I couldn't control all the coverages and whatnot that the coaches were going to call, but I knew as far as from a footwork standpoint, I would always start all over, in the beginning of the offseason and start all over with speed, agility, strength, conditioning, endurance, my tactical skills, my mental skills, my technique. And so I think as a professional, when after the season is over and you take your break, you come right back at the drawing board and you say, okay, now I want to improve on everything that I did. And then, during the season, if you get those results, then it pays off.
I think it was Doug Peterson on Monday when he was asked about his confidence level in second-year players. And I think the question is being asked about guys like Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, Luke Fortner, but he said, hey, guy like Foye Oluokun is in his second year with this team, and you think, here's a guy who led the league in tackles now with two different teams in consecutive years. How much better can he get? But, even a guy like that you think can maybe just feel more comfortable starting out the offseason, be able to hit the ground running as opposed to learning as he goes early on?
Yeah, see, there are certain things that every player brings to the team consistently, and then there's other plays or other things that they can do that can really turn the page. So for a guy like Aluakin, he led the league and he led the Jaguars in tackles. He's always going to probably do that because he's always around the ball. He has a knack for it. But if I was him, and what he's probably doing is he would look back and see, okay, what were the big plays he made? How many interceptions or how did he do versus when he blitzed? How did he do in man coverage? How did he do in zone coverage? What were those opportunities that he could have changed the game? And you try to look at it in that way and say, okay, I'm going to bring tackles to the game. I'm going to be around the ball. But how can I create more turnovers? That was the case for me in those last few years I was here when I was being franchised. The Jaguar was saying, well, one of the reasons we're not paying you because of salary, because of the money of the cap, but also we wanted to see you make more plays. And so even though I was leading the defensive backs in tackles every year, they used the making big plays as a way as to not give me a bigger payday. But what I did is I just said, okay, I got a jug machine, and I started working out with the jug machine, long balls right at me. I'm running routes. I'm breaking on routes and the jug machine. I started focusing on my hand strength so I can catch interceptions even more. I started working on my footwork even more, and I started doing man-to-man coverage. I used to go from, in practices, just covering tight ends and running backs. So I said, you know what, during these OTAs and off-season prep mini camps, I'm going to start covering wide receivers. So I was covering wide receivers, improving on those areas above, which the thing of tackling that I brought to the game.
And you got tagged 3 times, right?
Yes, sir. I got tagged 3 times. And then, like I said, I think it was one of my last years. My last year's getting tagged or whatever. Before that, I had, I think, 5 interceptions. I mean, I led the Jaguars in turnovers, in turnovers that year, but I had the most interceptions that I ever had. And it was just like, I just knew now I'm going to get a payday. But they slapped that franchise tag on me, anyway. But for me, the focus was about how can I create bigger plays? And that's what I did. I went back and saw how could I make bigger plays, and those bigger plays came into interceptions, when the opportunity presented itself.
That was 2004.
Yeah.
Played all 16 with 5 picks.
Yep. And then I had a lot of fumble calls. I caused a lot of fumbles. I recovered a lot of fumbles. So when you look at my stats,
you had 4 fumble recovery. You had 9 turnovers.
There you go. When you look at the stats, that's the difference for guys now. Guys going to make tackles, but can they create turnovers? And that's a big thing that everybody goes into every game saying, if we can create more turnovers, if we can get off the field on 3rd down. Well, if you're a player that's consistently doing that, you have a high value on the team.
Right. And, look, that's one way. If you're a defense that's not going to knock somebody out 3 and out all day long, you can make up for a lot by clamping down in the red zone and creating turnovers wherever they come on the field. That's been already a point of emphasis in OTAs for the Jags. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about OTAs and what's gone down. As I mentioned, Mike DeRocco will join us at about 40 after the hour this morning. But today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, just wanted to kind of, broaden people's idea, because I think people are going to focus in on the guys who were rookies last year predominantly. And that's okay because they may be the right answer. But the question is, who do you predict will be the most improved defensive player on the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2023? So we'll discuss that at length today. We'll have D-Rock talk about what he has observed in the first couple of OTA practices, and we've got Donovan Darius along if you want to be a part of it. 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Check out Donovan's Facebook Live, or check him out. Get what's the Facebook page?
Yeah, it's Donovan Darius.
Just Donovan Darius.
Donovan Darius, yes,
right.
sir.
Make sure you spell it with an I, not an A.
With an I.
By the way. All right, then you can check out Twitter as well, at MD_1010XL and at IME2. The T.
Come on, somebody.
All right, we'll be right back with more Jaguars Today with Donovan Darius in studio. This is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's another Waste Management Wednesday in the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios on 1010XL.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Rick Springfield, live. You know, I wish that I had Jesse's girl. 17 top 40 hits. Celebrating 40 years of working class dog. Friday, May 26th at Thrasher Horn Center. Get tickets at thcenter.org. Rick Springfield, live in concert.
Listen for the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation House Call in the Frangie Show this Friday. They'll tell you about postseason rehab programs for baseball players. JOI, where the pros go.
If you or someone you know suffer from Parkinson's or essential tremor, or if medication is not enough, you are not alone. Dr. Elaine Keebaugh here from Boston Scientific, and you have resources available. Join me at a free Lunch and Learn speaking event to help manage your disease. Thursday, May 25th from 11 to 1 at the Fleming Island Public Library. Visit dbsandme.com/webinar to learn more. That's dbsandme.com/webinar.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
ET here, and y'all know how much I like my brown water, but I ain't gonna lie, it gives me headaches sometimes. So my alternative is Brackish Vodka. This gluten-free alternative to Tito's is 100% local, and all monies stays right here in Duval. Not only does Brackish Vodka make you feel good, but when you support Brackish Vodka, you're also helping local charities. Try it side by side with your favorite vodka, and you will taste and smell how natural Brackish Vodka really is. And when you do, remember who sent you. Come on, somebody.
Come to Bowden Eye for all your eye care needs. Hicken here. Did you know that diabetes is a leading cause of blindness and affects up to 34 million Americans? Please don't take diabetes lightly. If you have diabetes, see your favorite Bowden Eye doc and save your vision. Bowden Eye is dedicated to the protection and preservation of the treasured gift of sight. Bowden Eye & Associates. Visit today for your personal consultation. Keeping the First Coast focused. New location now open off County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey guys, I'm Daniel Heilman from the brand new Fourscore Golf Tavern. We do elevated food, drinks, and golf simulator fun. If you're looking for a delicious meal or maybe a spot for a client, we have lunch specials every day. Need to entertain a few people from out of town? Easy. Just reserve one of our 4 simulator bays. Lunch service starts at 11 a.m. daily. Located in San Marcos Square, we'll see you at lunch at Fourscore Golf Tavern.
What's 1010XL's starting lineup?
The starting lineup.
Hicken and Prosser in the morning. Dempsey and Fat Tony with the Jags. Josie, Matt, Mia, and Leon midday. Frangie, Brooks, and Carline afternoon. And Baloo and Hacker in the evening. Live and local all day. 1010XL. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is totally up to you.
Yep.
Because you're a handsome fella.
Come on.
But got a request for the 3-box on the YouTube channel. They just want to see you. You know, and that's well within your control. I have no say in the matter. I have no control over it. I like it that way. The less I have to do, the better. So I never look at it, E. So as far as I know, you're always on there. I'm looking at you right now, and that's all that matters to me. I got a 2-shot with Donovan Darius to my right, E.T. to my left.
ET's high demand.
Yeah, that's why we put you over there, because I think that's the normal 2-shot that we do, double D.
And I just gave him the 3-shot. You're welcome.
All right. Are you going to leave it up there?
No, because I got work to do.
See, that's the thing. He doesn't want you to see what he's doing kind of behind the scenes over there. Maybe nap time coming up here pretty soon. Could be. D-Rock about 20 minutes away. Donovan, let's look through this defense a little bit and see where you think we're going to see some improvement. But let's start with Trayvon Walker, who I think, if the question is who do you want to see the most improvement from, that would be 97% of the answer, right? Because he's the number 1 overall pick, and you can be a good player and not get a lot of sacks. But I think if you're a pass rusher and you get picked number 1 overall, the expectation is eventually you will be a sack master, whatever phrase you want to use. Where do you think we'll see the biggest improvement from Trayvon going from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, hopefully, like you said, hopefully it's against the pass, in our pass defense, because that's what he was brought here to do. They knew that he was big, he was physical, but he was kind of a linebacker in a defensive end's body, and so he can get off the edge and create turnovers like a lot of guys, in the NFL right now. I mean, back in the day, you had big defensive ends. Now, guys are a lot smaller, faster, and everything, but he kind of brings a little bit of both. He has both qualities, strength, size, and size, and so and then speed as well. And so I think that in the pass game he should. What stood out to me last year when we had the Jaguars Legends reunion, where a lot of Jaguar legends came back and we joined a practice and then got a chance to talk to some of the guys afterwards.
Did you do that this year?
I did. Yeah, I did last year. And
did you do it this year as well?
No. Well, no, I did it last year at the end of the season. It was like end of the season last year.
Oh, okay. Because they did something a couple weeks ago.
But this was the guys actually was on a Saturday pre-game practice before they went away. And so what stood out to me was that Tony Brackens was in town. He came back in town, and he was in Daly's place, and he was working with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. And to see him teach the guys these fundamentals about how to get around, how to set up what you're going to do, and to see that they didn't really know how to do it yet at this level just goes to show that, hey, just because you're in the NFL doesn't mean you arrived. I mean, there are some things that you have to continuously work on, to get good. And so it kind of explained a little bit of why he wasn't making some of the plays that we expect him to make, simply by the things that Tony Brackens was showing him. But you could see he was open to it. He wanted to learn it. He was hungry for it. And so I just hope that just like Cardinal Lake, when he came, I gravitated to him. When Dwayne Washington came, I gravitated towards him. Guys that were veteran in the league that knew a lot of things and been around, I gravitated so I could add something to my game. And I just hope that he's humble enough and he's willing enough, and they create an opportunity that he continues to grow in that aspect from a mentee standpoint.
Yeah, I see. I guess that would be Josh Allen on this team, but Josh had 1 double-digit sack season, and that was as a rookie. I don't subscribe to signing a guy to be a, quote, coach on the field, right? He's got to be able to play.
Right.
But if a guy could play, and we talk so much about a variety of different veteran pass rushers.
But Josh is not that guy, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But if the Jags were to go out and sign a Justin Houston, who's been around the league, who's been a monster at times as a pass rusher, who last year put up over 9 sacks, as a part-time player, how much of a benefit would that be? And look, the main benefit's got to be that when you ask him to get on the field, he produces for you, right? But beyond that, how much do you think Trayvon Walker and guys like Yasir Abdul and other young hopefully up and coming players could benefit from that?
No, I think you can benefit a lot, but like you said, you're on a roster because you want to make a roster spot and you want to contribute to the team. You're not brought on. I don't see many players being brought to the team to coach other players. That's why they have coaches. They're here to make an impact within themselves. While at the same time, there are some guys, like they always say, great players does not always make great coaches. And great coaches may not have always been great players. And so sometimes you have players who have the ability to not only play at a high level, but also know how to teach, how to teach technique, how to break things down. And they're basically a benefit to your team when you have them. But you definitely don't go out and get a guy just because of that, just because of his influence. But I think that if they could bring a guy here who did have some type of experience and he was more of a specialist, that it can kind of spread to the other guys on the team.
You see the viral picture of Andre Sisco that's been going around?
No, I didn't see it.
Rick Ballou was interviewing him in practice.
Is he swole?
He is quite swole. Yes,
Okay.
He's pretty jacked, right?
Let me look him up.
Yeah, just I think if you throw it into whatever on social media, you'll probably find it. Just throw it into Twitter or whatever you've got up over there. But you'll find a picture of him. But he then, was kind of talking about how, hey, if y'all want the overnight oats recipe, I'll give it to you, that kind of thing. Like, so whatever he's doing, it's working. That's a guy, went to Syracuse like you, plays a position of safety like you. Where does the improvement need to come from in Andre Sisco's game this year?
Last year, of course, the first year, he only played very, very limited role.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying he was coming off an injury. Last year, I felt like he had his first real introduction, to the NFL consistently throughout the whole year. He made some big hits in open field, meaning he was reading the pass. He knew the routes. He was making some hits. He was coming up and sticking in the run. So I think he has a great opportunity this year to be that leader, that consistent leader, because people around the league start to notice you. When you're hitting guys over the middle, when you're stepping up to stopping running backs at their track, not giving them a lot of yards in the contact, people notice you. And so for you to build on that physicality, so you asked me where he can improve. I think number one, he can continue to improve in his physicality and being consistent. It was several times after the games while I was watching the game last year, and we would talk and text each other throughout the season. I would tell him a little bit what I saw of him, and how he was doing. And again, it was just something that we just had a relationship to do that. And I saw that in some games, his physical presence wasn't there, and it could have been due to injury. And other times it was there. And so he can improve versus the run, the physicality. And then I think in the pass game, it helps the fact that you're in the game another year because you've seen a lot more. And the more you see, the slower things go for you, and the more ways you speed up in making plays. So I think that if he wants to have a breakout year on top of everything he's doing, if he can continue to increase his physicality in the run game, be consistent, and then make some more plays on the back end, because that's what they have him at, that role as a safety.
Right. Well, that was what he was known for in college. He
Right.
was a ball hawk, right?
Hawk.
He was a guy who got his hands on the football and created turnovers. And obviously he must have agreed with you about the physicality part. Because, not every safety needs to be like that, especially in today's NFL when so much of it is, the in-the-box safety is not always –
because they spread you out now.
Right, exactly. It's not always something that every team desires to have, and I think it just gives them the versatility to be able to play strong against the run, and hopefully, he had 3 interceptions last year, hopefully maybe even double that total this year. What would you see – Devin Lloyd is the guy who started the year off hot last year, right? He was Defensive Rookie of the Month in the National Football League in his first month in the league, and then kind of got benched, at a point for Chad Muma. Got a little, I think, overwhelmed with, assignments and things like that, and really, that's where Foye Oluokun came in and provided a steady hand in making sure that those young guys were getting lined up properly. But can you see a big jump coming from Devin Lloyd in 2023?
I hope so. I think hopefully it become more of a consistent, kind of stance. Like you said, he started out the year very, very good, and there was a lot of hopes, for what he can do. And then you only can wonder what happened, why he started to get demoted, and they put, Musa in and just kind of, Muma in, why they put him in. But I think for him, just the consistency, I know he had some injuries last year, some hamstring problems and whatnot. So, again, just him being consistent on the field, making plays, I just hope that they drafted him high. He produced. He has another year under his belt. I mean, again, experience matters, Mike. I mean, you come into this league as a quarterback, you have a great opportunity. I always say you have a great opportunity to be great your first year a lot of times because teams don't know you. But when you get a chance but the second year, after they're able to study you, then they can kind of game plan against you. And it's the same thing on the defense. Your first year, you can come in and offenses don't really know exactly what you know or not. But if you get a chance to study yourself and study opponents, you can really make plays. And so I think this year could be a great breakout year for him as well.
I think when we talk about guys and we're looking for guys that are going to improve the most, we look for the guys that we don't automatically think are the guys who've shown to be the better players on whatever side of the ball we're talking about. I think a lot of people feel that if you're going to say who the best player is on defense right now, Tyson Campbell would get a lot of votes for that, right? That you feel pretty good about him. Young corner, starting to come into his own. One criticism of him that was very valid in his rookie year was he'd lose the ball, right? He'd be in position and didn't get his head turned around and react and play the ball, and he got beat because of that sometimes. We saw an improvement in that regard last year. When you are one of the better players, and you talked about it, you try to work on things to improve on every year. Tyson's so young, I think he's overlooked sometimes as a guy that probably still has a lot of ceiling to reach.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about this league. Every year, if you adopt the mentality every year, I have to win and earn my spot, then what that's going to do is that's going to keep you healthy, that's going to keep you hungry, and that's going to keep you humble. And if you can have those things as a player, not the fact that I'm in the league and I made it, but if you can always say, I got to earn the right to be on the field, then that allows you to go back to the drawing board, get all the information you need, get yourself in a gym, get yourself on the field, in the film room, whatever it is you need to do. You need to be a student of the game, but more so a student of yourself first.
All right, so plenty of candidates, and that's today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Let us know who you think will be, not who you hope it is, but who you think it actually will be, the most improved player on the Jacksonville Jaguars defense in 2023. When we return in the moment, we'll get an early glimpse at how these guys are performing on both sides of the football, offense, defense, as Mike DiRocco will join us from ESPN's coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars. With Donovan Darius and ET, I'm Mike Dempsey. D-Rock coming up on the other side. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Waste Management Wednesday continues from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Did you hear what's happening? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are spring cleaning. New inventory on the ground means the old has to go. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the new year by saving thousands on thousands of vehicles priced to sell. New and pre-owned prices have been reduced, and all sales associates have been instructed to give maximum value on all trades. But you better hurry. That's right. Best deals go first. Head to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to take advantage of the spring cleaning sale. We're here to wow you.
Great free agent signings come from doing your homework. Selecting a roofing contractor takes the same hard work. Preferred Roofing has a great track record and a Master Elite certification. A free agent you can trust and know you'll get your money's worth. And remember this, Preferred Roofing guarantees to educate their customers on such a big decision as replacing a roof. Let their consultants help you make an informed choice that you're sure to feel good about. Master Elite certified contractors, Preferred Roofing is who you need. Tell them Joe C. sent you.
Servicing every customer like they're famous. But what does that mean for you? It comes down to the famous philosophy. You'll find a consistency at all 20 locations in friendly service, honest pricing, and realistic time expectations. They know when you find someone you trust to maintain your vehicle, keep it running right, and lasting longer, you'll stick with them. And that's the famous philosophy at Famous Automotive in Quick Lube. Ask about a fleet account for your business.
I-9 Sports, flag football, basketball, soccer, and t-ball. Play year-round with co-ed programs ages 3 to 17. Duval, Clay, and St. John's. Enter promo code 1010XL for $5 off. Check out i9sports.com for all the details.
Mia O'Brien here, still providing the best multimedia sports coverage in Northeast Florida on 1010XL radio, video, and social channels.
Catch Mia's quick hits on the video and social channels of 1010XL, driven by Arlington Toyota.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you've ever considered owning a quality diamond of a carat or more, now's the time to buy. From now until May 27th, we're holding our big diamond sale, and now is the best time to buy a quality diamond. These are a few reasons why. First, prices for high-quality big diamonds continue to go up. Second, we've arranged with our primary diamond cutters to take their stock of big diamonds on consignment prior to them being offered to the trade at next week's International Jewelry Show in Las Vegas. You can buy from this huge assortment at the lowest prices we ever sell for. All of these diamonds are graded for cut, color, and clarity and have independent laboratory grading reports. Now, along with this vast collection of big diamonds, we put all of our own meticulously selected loose diamonds and solitaires on sale at prices from 3% to 25% off. We also take trade-ins. But remember, this sale ends May 27th at Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the Shops of Ponte Vedra.
Jacksonville has some junk, and J-Dog is removing it. They're here to do the dirty work. You don't want to remove and dispose of large furniture or appliances yourself? Call J-Dog. Here now proudly serving you, removing junk from your home or business. They can even handle small demolition projects, and they're still donating local items to veterans in need. So let J-Dog do the dirty work for you. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned and operated. JDog.com.
We've been telling you for almost a year about Nathan's Family Chiropractic and the 100-Year Lifestyle Network. If chronic back or joint pain is keeping you down, don't listen to me. Listen to what Jacksonville is saying about Dr. Alan Nathans.
The stem cell treatment took the pain away.
Changed my life. It's awesome.
Your body just works better when it's aligned. We're believers.
His no-needle regenerative protocols are giving people their lives back. Get yours back, too. Go to the pro in the know. Don't do another cortisone injection. He's one of us, helping all of us for the past 25 years. For more info, drnathans.com.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
1010XL.
Did you hear that?
Hear what? 1010XL.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio. Jaguars Today on 1010XL. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, I always kind of hesitate to do this because, when something is a surprise on the audio stream, right? And we have multiple streams. We have multiple ways you can listen to the show. You can listen, just turn your radio on, right? Listen to 1010 AM, 92.5 FM. But if you're out of market or you get better reception or whatever you want to listen on the app, we have a 1010 AM app stream. We have a 92.5 FM stream. You can watch on the YouTube channel as well. So, and listen, obviously, while you're watching. Or you could just mute us and see how handsome we are.
Well, somebody said they're watching the stream and they're listening to the stream, but then they're listening to the baseball and they're watching the stream.
Well, I don't know how you watch the stream, but there's baseball on the 1010 AM app right now, right? But for the people who are texting me going, what's going on with the app, unless you get a direct text back from me. I don't know how me saying it on the air helps you out, right? Because you're not hearing it. So if you're listening on the 1010 a.m. stream, you're still not hearing me say, turn it over to the 92.5 FM stream. So there you go. That's the way to do it. Try my best to make the peeps happy. I appreciate it because, look, we get it. We appreciate you listening in whatever form that takes. Let's say hello to Mike DiRocco, ESPN Jaguars reporter. D-Rock, good morning. How are you?
I'm well, fellas. How are you guys doing today?
We're okay. Just give it, it's only first 2 days of OTAs. Nobody's getting breathlessly, ahead of themselves here, but just your general sense of the atmosphere, the mood, the attitude of the collective Jaguars that you've watched over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I just kind of get the sense, somebody asked me the other day, can you kind of compare and contrast the feeling inside the building and inside the organization last year at this time to this year? And, last year it was obviously a little bit of wariness, uneasiness, not really sure what to expect out of Doug Peterson, not really sure what to expect on the field from these guys. And this year there's a confidence. I just get this overwhelming sense of confidence that this team has, that they're ready to be a team that can, compete for a Super Bowl. They feel like they're in great shape in terms of offensively, and they feel like they've added enough guys defensively that they feel that they can be a team that competes with the Bills and the Bengals and, the Ravens and whoever, and the Chiefs to kind of reach the AFC Championship game and possibly get to the Super Bowl. So I just feel like there's a much bigger sense of confidence in themselves heading into this season than there was last year.
Hey, Mike.
And rightfully so.
Hey, Mike, this is Donovan Darius, man. Hey, I just had a question. Like, when you're down there, are there any guys that you can see kind of standing out more as just kind of from a leadership standpoint? Again, there's no pads on and they only can do so much, but typically you can see guys that kind of corral each group has one of those guys, whether it's DBs, linebackers, whatever, or on offense. Is there any guys that's standing out to you just in these past couple of days?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Foye Oluwakan at linebacker certainly is the guy that sort of everyone kind of gravitates to over on that side of the ball over there, not only just at linebacker, but certainly everywhere else. Roy Robertson-Harris, at defensive tackle along the defensive line is probably the unquestioned leader there at this point right now. And in the secondary, it's Rayshon Jenkins, without question, and Cisco, too, as well. The two starting safeties, guys that, everyone sort of kind of looks to there. Offensively, obviously Trevor. And, it's still Brandon Sheriff is the leader of that offensive line group and one of the veteran leaders on that offense. And then you look at the wide receivers, and boy, there's like a million guys that you could choose from that really kind of control the room there. But you add Ridley to a group that was already really good leadership-wise with Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. I mean, and if you're a young wide receiver, I can't imagine a better room to be in the league than this one, with those three guys sort of being the guys that teach and lead and get these guys pointed in the right direction. So, it's obviously a veteran group, overall, this team, which is really kind of funny when you consider that they're still relatively young. But, it's mostly the same guys that we saw from last year that are really kind of continuing to be the leaders for this team.
D-Rock, this time last year, I think the narrative was clearly about Rayshon Jenkins. Like, well, he's on this team because of the contract, but we can clear up some cap space next off season, right? Because people, I think, were somewhat disappointed that he didn't have a bigger impact when he first got here. And then he turned in a season that arguably made him the defensive MVP of the football team. So we're asking people today who they think will make a big leap defensively this year. Who are the top candidates? Not who you think needs to, but who you think is most likely to. Give us 2 or 3 names.
Oh, wow. Devon Hamilton, I think, along the defensive line, is a guy that I think might be in that group. They view him as a key piece moving forward, so that's certainly, that's why they signed him to the extension. It's hard to say at linebacker, too, because you have to kind of – I haven't seen enough, obviously, from Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma. Those are the guys that need to make that leap, without question. They have to. Because this defense is going to be not any better than it was last year if guys like Lloyd and Muma and Trayvon Walker don't make that leap. And I think, honestly, Walker is a guy that should be the biggest improvement, make sort of maybe not the same kind of leap that Rayshon Jenkins did, because, we talk about the leap that Trevor made in the second half of that season. Well, what Rayshon Jenkins did was just as impressive, just on the other side of the ball. But it's got to be, honestly, Trayvon Walker. He has to be a guy that affects the quarterback. He has to be a guy that is good in the run game, and he has to be a guy that finishes getting quarterbacks on the ground. It's not just enough to affect them. He's got to get them on the ground. And someone asked him that question the other day, and he's like, I want to get sacked. He's like, that's what guys are judged on. That's what guys are paid on. I want to get sacked. So I think, Walker would probably be, 1A along with, maybe Hamilton in my eyes, I guess.
Hey, looking at the offensive side of the ball, with Evan Ingram not being there because of franchise tag, can you sense a difference in the offense just over the last couple of days with him not being there, knowing how he really evolved last year, or is it more so because they have a solid group of wide receivers and now they're adding Ridley as well that you really can't notice it?
Yeah, I didn't really notice much. It's really just very few team periods. I noticed obviously that he's not there because that takes away a lot of the things that they really want to do because they don't really have anybody else at this point right now that can fill that role. But adding Ridley, like you said, does sort of mitigate that a little bit. And you're watching, and it's like, okay, who is Ridley on the field with? Is it Ridley, Zay, and Kirk? Is it Ridley? Is Parker Washington out there, the kid they drafted? Is Kendrick Tim Jones made a couple of nice catches the other day. So this is the kind of time of year where you just kind of mix and match guys. So I didn't really notice Evan Ingram's absence as much, but I think that's partly because I knew he wasn't going to be here, and I know he's not going to be here, at least for, the foreseeable future. But look, without him, it is noticeable a lack of playmakers at tight end. That's why they drafted Brenton Strange. They need somebody to kind of be that number 2 in the pass-catching department. And he's been an impressive guy to look at. But, I think Ingram, obviously a massive part of this offense. And it's going to be fun to watch how it works because, last year when Ingram got hot, Christian Kirk's numbers kind of dipped a little bit. So they kind of took some turns there carrying that passing game, I guess, if you will. And they really need him. And I expect him to be here eventually. I just, I'm not sure if that they're going to get any kind of long-term deal done with him, but I do expect him to be here at some point, before camp.
Yeah, that'll be the interesting thing is the timing of that. If they don't get a long-term deal done, he can stay out as long as he likes, and he's not a holdout, until he signs that franchise tender. But what about the other 2 guys that aren't here, Mike? I know, Doug Peterson kind of, as is his style, he downplays that. It is voluntary. I get all that. But, you got Josh Allen going into kind of a make-or-break year as to whether or not he's here long-term, and Cam Robinson. And I know that, Doug even said it, look, if Cam was here, he'd just be rehabbing. But do you think, despite the public, all's well, is everything all well with the fact that those guys are not here right now?
Yeah, there's no concern on their part on Josh Allen. None. He'll be here whenever he needs to be here, whenever he decides to come or whenever he can be here, whatever. And he'll show up in shape. They don't worry one bit about Josh Allen. That's not even something that they're thinking about. Josh Allen will be fine. And the Cam Robinson one did surprise me that he's not here, mainly because he has facing the potential suspension, and he is still rehabbing that knee or trying to get better from that knee. So I expected him to be here and, at least be working with the trainers and stuff. Look, he made a mistake. If he does get suspended, if he did violate the performance-enhancing substance policy, he made a mistake. However, it happened. And I thought, a great way to show that you feel bad about that and you want to make up for that and you're sorry is to kind of be here and get that done, and work with the trainers and just kind of show a little that you're sorry. And I was a little surprised that he's not here, but, we're still waiting on the length of that suspension.
Right.
And his situation's interesting because if it's a 6-game suspension and Walker Little plays well at left tackle, and Anton Harrison plays well at right tackle, you've got a little bit of dilemma, especially if the team's playing well. Do you just move Cam right back in? Is he going to be rusty? Do you keep him on the bench? What do you do with him? Do you dangle him out there as trade bait? There's going to be injuries at some point, to left tackles across the league, whether that's in camp or during the season. And maybe you can get something for him. So, there's no guarantee. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't finish the season on this roster. But obviously, we're way early in that because I don't know what Anton Harrison's going to look like right now. Well, none of us do. But, it's something to monitor because it's a real interesting situation. He's not going to be here next year. I think we all can read the writing on the wall there with the cap number and the amount of savings and the fact that they drafted Harrison. But, I thought he would be here. I think they're a little annoyed that he's not, but, they're not worried at all about Josh Allen.
D-Right, in terms of Cam, I know we don't know the length of the suspension. Is that because does he still have appeals ongoing, or is this usually you don't find out about this stuff until after appeals are exhausted, typically, right? Do you have any knowledge of whether he is trying to fight to reduce anything or, at least still plead his case, or are we past that point right now?
Well, the B sample comes is what they're dealing with at this point. And then after that, there's the whole appeal process and all that other stuff. So it takes longer than we think it should. It always does because there is a process that, they have X number of days from the result coming in to file an appeal. It's kind of all spelled out, and it's not a quick process. Generally, they don't announce any suspensions for this kind of stuff. I want to say it's generally in June. So I'm expecting it in the next couple of weeks at some point. And the question then becomes for the Jags, okay, what do we do? Are we okay with Wells and Little and Harrison as our three? I don't have a sense on whether it's going to be a 2, 4, or 6 game suspension. It depends on, what. A lot of times they don't detect the substance; they detect the masking substance. So if Cam, for example, took something knowingly and then took a masking substance, and I'm not saying that's what he did, we don't know, then that's probably going to be a 6 game suspension. If it's sort of he took something that a trainer gave him that he didn't clear with the team, and should have, because we all know that that's what you're supposed to do. If your personal trainer or whatever gives you something to take, whether it's to help heal or whatever, you're supposed to clear it through the team so they can say, yeah, you can take that or no, you can't. Then I wouldn't expect it to be a 6 game suspension in that case. So it's just they're stuck in the waiting game. The Jags don't have any idea what it's going to be yet, so it's still going to be several more weeks.
Hey, D-Rock, knowing that they have, these next days and whatnot of the OTAs, and they can only do but so much in OTAs, what would you consider a win for the Jaguars coming out? Like, what are you looking to happen, or, what guys, or if any of them, needs to kind of stand out or just show that they fit in and improve, or whatever they can do during OTAs? So what's more of a win for the Jaguars coming out of these OTAs?
First, stay healthy.
Yep.
Which, number one, got to have it.
Number one, baby.
And number two, this is the second year in both of the systems. So you want to see less confusion. There's going to be some because you've got rookies you're integrating and new guys you're integrating into the offensive and defensive systems. But you want to see less confusion. You want to see less times where the offense is running up to the line of scrimmage and then Doug has to blow a whistle and they have to come back because somebody lined up wrong or they didn't, motion correctly or whatever. You want to see none of that, really. There'll be a little bit, but you want to see none of that. And you want to see Trevor Lawrence and that passing game continue to click. And there were several throws the other day. Calvin Ridley hauled in a couple of really nice catches, but to me the best throw was just a seam throw right up the middle to Christian Kirk that he just line drived right in there. It was a phenomenal throw. So you want to see a lot more of that. You want to see this offense continue to click. And, it's hard to tell defensively, obviously, until things are live. but on that side of the ball, too, a lot less confusion. You want to see Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma not being confused and being in the right spot and not having to recover. And you want to see some of these DBs make some plays on the ball. How is that nickel spot going to work? Trey Herndon going to fight off some of these other guys, Eric Hallett, for example. Can those guys get in the mix? But really, mostly it's stay healthy. And until we get to camp and see guys in full pads, that's kind of the number one priority. Everybody stay healthy, and then we'll get going later.
D-Rock, last one for you. You mentioned Eric Hallett, and Tony and I talked a lot about this. We went into the week of the draft thinking, well, there's no way they're going to utilize 9 picks, right? There's no room for 9 rookies on this team. Instead, they had 13 when it was all said and done. So, how many of these rookies legitimately, give me a rough number that you think can make the 53 out of camp?
Oh, boy. Well, the first 3 picks will definitely make it for sure. I think a guy like Parker Washington will make it.
Yasir Abdullah and Tyler Lacey, you would think, right?
I would definitely think Yasir Abdullah, mainly because there's nobody else they have.
Correct.
If he's not making it, then you're relying on Kayvon Chason way too much at this point, and Deshaun Dixon or Jordan Smith, none of whom have really accomplished anything. And, you drafted Abdullah for a reason, and he's an interesting guy. So I think he would be there. And then you get into those, it's not an elite group of defensive backs that they have, but it's pretty solid with Jenkins and Cisco and Campbell and Darius Williams. You're looking, after those 4, there's really only, 3 or 4 more spots that are up for grabs. So, they like Greg Jr., Chris Claybrooks can still, you can't teach speed, so I think he's a guy, a very good special teams guy. They just re-signed, Andrew Wingard, so he's a guy that you're going to probably want to keep as well. So there's really not a ton of spots after that available. So, what was that, 4 or 5 maybe of those 13 guys, 6 at the most probably make it?
I have a hard time looking at the list and not thinking that Harrison Strange Bigsby, obviously, Ventrell Miller. They spent a 4th-round pick on the guy, right?
Right.
Yeah. Lacey as well. Abdullah.
So that's 5?
Abdullah Antonio Johnson in the 5th. I'm not saying he's guaranteed. Parker Washington, I could see all cases right away for all these guys. And you can't forget, if they go fullback, they took Derek Parrish in the 7th round as well. There could be I think, a lot more tough veteran cut decisions this year than we're anticipating, maybe is the point.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Like a guy like Daniel Thomas.
For
probably
sure.
One of those guys that are like, better really pick it up this year. Like a Tavon Campbell as well. Guys like that. But the other thing, too, is your roster you should be getting to the point where it's hard for rookies in that 4th, 5th, 6th round, or maybe not the 4th, but 5th, 6th, 7th round to be making this team.
Sure.
It should be hard for them because that means your roster's in much better shape. And, Trent Baalke essentially admitted that after, that 3rd or 4th round, they, treated a lot of those guys that they picked on that 3rd day as almost as, undrafted free agents. Trent Baalke, we've got like 120 guys that we, have rated on our board. And after that, it's, instead of trying to sign these guys as undrafted free agents, maybe we'll take a chance on them, on Saturday of the draft. So we'll see. I did miss Ventrell Miller. Good call on that. I think he makes it as well. But they should get to the point next year where if you're drafting 7 guys, 8 guys, 5 of those guys have a shot at making it, and the other ones are practice squad candidates at best, and that tells you that your roster's in much, much better shape than it has been.
Yeah, no doubt. And, which is honestly, a failure to consolidate some of these picks, in my opinion, to get more premium picks or a couple. And I understand it takes 2 to tango, but had the most trades of any year in the NFL draft this year. So, teams were moving and shaking, including the Jags moving back a couple of times and accumulating more. So we'll see how it all works out, but we'll see it through the eyes in part of Mike DiRocco of ESPN, at ESPN DiRocco on Twitter. D-Rock, all the best. Until the next time, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Same to you. Mike DiRocco of ESPN. We'll come back and discuss what we heard there. Somebody asked on the text line, what do we think about Monteric Buster Brown? And to be honest with you, I think it's a little bit telling as D-Rock ran through the litany of all the defensive backs that are competing for spots that's not a guy I don't believe that he mentioned there. And that doesn't mean that's how the team views him, but it is a very competitive group in terms of making this roster right now. Mike Dempsey, Donovan Darius, and ET here with you halfway home. More Jaguars Today straight ahead on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helping you over the hump. It's a Waste Management Wednesday on Jaguars Today.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
JOI, where the pros go. 1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
I think you need to calm down.
I can't be calm. No. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I'm the master of the mechanical stuff.
Mornings on 1010XL.
The only thing better than a day at Jack's Beach is driving there in a new ride. And now is the time, because it's the Summer Starts Here sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. It's over 350 premium pre-owned on the lot. All makes, all models, certified pre-owned, you name it, Arlington has it. You even get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it for one that you do. But this sale won't last long, so don't wait. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Hey folks, you ever search why Shark Coatings is the best? Well, one of the many reasons is our polyurea. We don't just buy it from anyone who has it in stock. We custom blend ours, specializing between summer and winter blend, providing you with the best product for our area. After grinding the concrete, that polyurea will form a permanent bond at the molecular level and will not pull away like epoxy. With Shark Coatings, not only will your garage look awesome, but your pool deck, patio, or driveway will too. See how Shark Coatings can make a difference for you. Call, click, or text today.
If you or someone you know suffer from Parkinson's or essential tremor, or if medication is not enough, you are not alone. Dr. Elaine Keebaugh here from Boston Scientific, and you have resources available. Join me at a free Lunch and Learn speaking event to help manage your disease. Thursday, May 25th from 11 to 1 at the Fleming Island Public Library. Visit dbsandme.com/webinar to learn more. That's dbsandme.com/webinar.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Beer, water, beer. That's a pretty good game plan when it comes to battling the summer heat. When you hit the beach, fishing hole, or golf course, make sure you hydrate. Anheuser-Busch is always up for a good time. Just remember to drink responsibly.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, Armada, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including active armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. There's comfort in having real-time financial solutions you can trust. When it comes to your money, count on First Florida Credit Union. When value counts, rely on First Florida for rates and rewards that give you the freedom to enjoy more of what you want. When service counts, depend on First Florida for the conveniences you expect and the personal connection you deserve. First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home all week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tomorrow is Coors Light Thirsty Thursday with beer specials, and it's a military appreciation night presented by Ascension St. Vincent's and Out Front. Then it's the weekend of Boom with fireworks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable, family, fun.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
Want great drinks at a great location without paying outrageous prices? Players Grill has you covered. Monday through Friday, happy hour from 3 to 5 p.m. $15 bottomless mimosas on the weekend. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
I'm Taylor Dahl with your 1010XL local sports update. JU baseball left 9 men on base and were shut out 7-0 by 3-seed Florida Gulf Coast in the ASUN Championship opener last night. Dolphins still have 2 games to play in pool play with a chance to qualify for the semifinals that start on Saturday. And Jacksonville's Brian Miller was just shy of the cycle in the 9-5 series opening loss for the Shrimp last night against Charlotte. The series continues today with an afternoon game at 12:05 barring weather. And Florida baseball will open the SEC tournament play against a red-hot Alabama tonight at 5:30. 9-seed Bama won its 6th straight, blanking Kentucky on Tuesday. The top-seed Gators, coming off a bye, have won 5 of their last 6 to close out the regular season. Double elimination begins today for the tournament. You can hear that on 1010 AM. 73 degrees at 11:06. Time and temper brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Because this defense is going to be not any better than it was last year. Guys like Lloyd and Muma and Trayvon Walker don't make that leap.
Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
No doubt, the defense, there are several players. I mean, that's where the improvement's going to come from primarily, internally. Guys who are on this team projected right now. I mean, what player who wasn't a starter last year would you project as a starter really almost across the board, other than Calvin Ridley being a new guy coming in? If you include fullback Derek Parrish as a candidate there. But defensively, Donovan, Mike Dempsey, Donovan, Darius E.T. here with you. You know, up front, Roy Robertson-Harris, Devon Hamilton, hopefully a healthy Foley Fatukasi. Those are going to be your guys. Tyler Lacey and Adam Gotsis and others will mix in. Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker on the edges. Oluwakin, and I would suspect Devin Lloyd, the strong favorite, over Muma to start. I mean, look how much they invested in him. And then you got your safeties, who we know will be Rayshawn and Cisco. And, Darius Williams, who, by the way, a lot of people are picking as a candidate to be most improved, which I think is a pretty good pick because moving outside, I think, helped him last year. I think really nickel, Tyson Campbell's got his spot, but nickel could be a competition. I don't, if you consider that a starter, and a lot of people do, I think Trey Herndon's got foot in the door, Double D, but I don't think that's, you got to create some competition with these young guys. And I understand that there are a lot of young players that are just going to show that improvement themselves, but it'd be nice if, at least a few of them are uncomfortable and get pushed a little bit for their spot.
Well, I think the fact that they have at least 1 year and they've had success really builds on what they can build on this year. Like you mentioned, I mean, the roster is almost pretty solid right now in terms of our ones, but I think that the nickel spot is one of the greatest underrated positions, on the defense, because again, that person has to be able to run with the fastest and be able to hit with the biggest, and just do a whole lot of things, especially under Mike Caldwell's defense in terms of blitzing and covering guys in the slot and whatnot. And so I'm just happy to know that we got all these guys coming back. They're not facing a whole lot of injury, because you can only expect for them to gel even more, and have even greater production, amongst themselves.
All right. we're going to talk about your camps here in a minute. You're only sticking around till the bottom of the hour, so we've just got a few minutes in this segment to get it in. E.T., you're much more hip than I am. Do you know what smishing is? Did you hear me talking about this with Taylor a minute ago?
Smishing.
Smishing.
Never heard of that.
Smishing. Neither had I. Yeah. But my phone warned me I might be getting smished here, okay? I got a text. I'm going to read it to you. It says, Sella. S-E-L-L-A, exclamation point.
Okay.
I don't know, are they saying, the S is 2 letters away from the F, so maybe fella or something.
True.
I don't know.
Take a fat finger.
Sella. I mean, a really fat finger, though, right? This is me, Jessica.
Hey, Jessica.
We played golf together before, and it's so fun.
Oh.
Wow.
When you available, let's play again together. And then there's a picture of Jessica with just kind of like a bit of a sassy golf pose on there, right there. But my phone warned me I may be, it's from an unsaved number, beware of smishing and phishing. Phishing is just the equivalent in email,
right.
I think. That's it. So I did not know what smishing was.
I've never heard that till today.
Text her back?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
But,
yet.
Well, I may. I mean, I'm going to ask her for a credit card info first. Hey, remember that $100 I lent you that I won from you the last time we played golf? It is so fun, right? Could I get that? Maybe I need to create a Cash App account, and I could give her my account, and then she could just deposit right in there. That'll probably happen, right?
I would say I misplaced my social security number. Can I use yours?
Can I use yours would be another good one, right?
Nice,
something along those lines, you know, and bank routing, whatever you got. So, it boggles the mind, but Double D, they say these people who do this stuff, they just send this is all they do. They just send and it's just a volume game, right? It's like sales. You make enough calls, you're going to make some sales, right? You send enough of these, some doofus is going to click on the link, and I say doofus. I'm sure there have been people that have been scammed by them, and they look legit, and they prey on people, and it just,
Man, real quick, I mean, just a few months ago, I had somebody, I had a bank charge on my credit card that I called to dispute and this, that, and the other, and the number that they had me call, you know, for the vendor, you know, to get the money back, he passed me on and said, you know what, hey, I'm going to send you this link to download this app on your phone.
No,
and
you're not.
He said, hey, matter of fact, do you have any other credit cards you want to put on an account? I'm like, what does my other credit cards have to do? I said, you know what, son? I said, you sound a little bit fishy right now. And I'm about to hang up on you.
Smishy.
You know, yeah, and I just hung up on him. But yeah, I mean, he wanted to send me this app that allows them to control your phone. You know, to allow them to control your phone. And so, again, for people out there, man, be aware. I very rarely answer calls that I don't know. I send you right to, you know.
I
right
never answer.
But be careful though. It's a lot of people out here doing some crazy.
We're the old folks who still have a landline at the house, and honestly, I don't know why we have it. I mean, maybe for emergencies or something. I don't know what all the cell towers go down at the same time, but we never answer it.
Yeah.
We just let we have an answering machine, and it rings, and generally 9 out of 10 times nobody leaves a message. We got an answering machine.
Is it tape or digital?
It's probably a little tape. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. It's old, man. I don't. It works. What do I need an upgrade for? I just want to screen my calls is what I want to do, and I'm sure there are probably easier ways to do that. But my credit card. Somebody on one of my credit cards booked a bunch of flights to Puerto Rico.
Really?
Like in the last month, But I've found, like, the credit card companies, the reputable ones, are really good about it. Like, you're like, look, man, you know, this didn't stand out to you. Like, you know, all of a sudden I'm booking flights for all these different people to Puerto Rico. And, they took it right off.
Well, last year, real quick, somebody hacked. I had in my phone, I had my debit card, and I would get some drinks, you know, at the gym. Well, I started noticing that there were people was taking, like, $100 out of my account using that ATM card, $200, $400 at like 7-Elevens, gas stations, all over the place. So I called my bank. I mean, it was over $4,000, Mike. I usually have alerts on my phone for charges, but I didn't have it for that card. I don't know why I didn't, but again, man, it's a crazy world out there.
It is. You know, somebody's saying it comes from SMS being, you know, a text, and it's SMS-ishing, but they literally spell it smishing, like S-M-I-S-H, smish. So that maybe that's the origin of it. But, that's 100% scam. Don't click the link and don't reply on WhatsApp. I'm not replying on WhatsApp. For what I'll do is ultimately I'll delete it. Is what I will do. But should have done that already. Anyway, Double D. While we got a moment, again, got tackling camps coming up this summer. Give folks the details.
Yes, sir. So this will be basically my eighth annual year hosting these camps, except when we had the pandemic. And so I typically hold camps for youth athletes 7 to 14 years old, and then I'll do some high school ones during spring break and then during the summer. So this summer I'm hosting about 7 tackling technique camps for youth ages 7 to 13. They're going to be camps all over Northeast Florida. You can go to the website and see all the places we're going to host them. Again, these focusing on helping the kids learn how to properly tackle from a safety standpoint, and then at a high level. And so we get a chance to take these kids for over 3 hours and just work with them through a lot of drills and skills, over 50 drills and skills they're going to learn, and they're going to perform themselves during that time. And so if anybody is part of a youth organization in Jacksonville, I'm sure I'm having a camp close to your area. Just go to DariusNextLevelTraining.com. You can see all the places and locations I'm hosting them. They're evening tackling camps, so 5:30 to 8:15. So, hey, parents can stick around and bring the kids out. And so we're looking forward to that. The cost is only $49 for the kids to come. And then the other thing that I'm so excited about, I've been giving people an opportunity, Mike, to just sponsor a kid so we don't turn any kid away. And because of that effort, yourself, thank you, Mike, you sponsored. People have been sponsoring. We have over 60 sponsored scholarships right now for kids. And so we can reach out to the kids, those areas of low risk, or the high risk, low income areas. And we're like, listen, we can get a busload of kids and just bring them. So if you want to sponsor a kid, 1 kid, 2 kids, 4 5 kids, 10, whatever, you can. DariusNextLevelTraining.com. Join us in helping these kids grow not only on the field but in life as well.
Yeah, and I know the station has stepped up
and the station did a tremendous job. Thank you, 1010 XL. Thank you. Shout out to you guys. They gave me over 60 spots that they're just going to keep running the information about the camps. For people that want to sponsor, for the kids to come out and everything. And so I'm grateful for them for allowing me to have the opportunity to share the message and bring people out.
Got to get the word out, man. All right. Somebody on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Then I'll end this sad chapter of the show. That's one of the things that people do when they're trying to scam you. They misspell words and use bad grammar intentionally, they say, because people who are willing to overlook stuff like that are easier to scam. See, I've always pictured it somebody in a Russian troll farm, right? Where they're sitting there and they're just sending out these things to whatever email addresses, whatever list they can get, and that the reason the grammar is bad is because sometimes your grammar is not great. You can learn the language, but the grammar is a little bit off, and you're like, oh, you're just maybe not a native English speaker. It might not be your first language. That's what I've always assumed it would be. Whatever. I mean, Jessica's gone. Sorry to the person who asked that I forward the text on to them. What can I tell you? All right, we'll come back more with Double D, and we'll take a look at some of the responses we've gotten before you have to get out of here at the bottom of the hour, just on people's projection for who might be the most improved player on the defensive side. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Donovan Darius, and E.T. Fat Tony on assignment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Keeping the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios clean. It's a Waste Management Wednesday on 1010XL. JOI, where the pros go.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on South Side near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. 2 great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
Do you have a lift station at your business? Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services would love to be your maintenance provider. Give us a call for a quote today. 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com.
Find your why and your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
Get your news and notes from the swamp.
Alligators ornery 'cause they got all them teeth.
I'm Taylor Dahl, and I'll bring you the Gator Report to keep you connected to Gainesville.
Wow. Brought to you by Darley's 1010XL.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train full-time in carpentry, electrical, sheet metal, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year, and the classes are 100% tuition-free. Start your new career today and apply before June 12th at nefbaapprenticeship.org.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom. Looking for a great way for your kids to enjoy sports? Check out I-9 Sports, the way youth sports should be, offering flag football, basketball, soccer, and t-ball in Duval, St. John's, and Clay County. You can play year-round, fall, winter, spring, and summer seasons with co-ed programs ages 3 to 17. Enter promo code 1010XL to receive $5 off registration. All the details are at i9sports.com.
When your vehicle needs an oil change, but you really haven't got the time, visit the newest Famous Quick Lube location in Jacks Beach near Penman. It's the same fast, affordable service at your convenience. That's Famous Quick Lube.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Now is the perfect time to make sure your home is protected from storms by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get $500 off a full roof replacement and $250 off roof repairs. Plus, same as cash financing for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1230747, CBC 1258484.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We're your local family jeweler for 46 years in Jacksonville with a huge selection of diamonds, gemstones, and pre-owned Rolex watches. And Monahan Jewelers is your store for expert jewelry repair turned around in 1 or 2 days. Most jewelry stores take 2 weeks or more, and many stores send your jewelry somewhere else for repair. At Monahan Jewelers, our jewelry repair is done in-house by expert craftsmen, and Monahans can turn around most repairs in a day or two. So bring your jewelry repair to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
I want the truth! The truth?
He's not afraid to tell the truth.
You want the truth?
Rick Ballou is the truth teller.
You and SpongeBob are honestly like my biggest influences ever, dude.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
On 1010XL.
He has to be a guy that affects the quarterback. He has to be a guy that is good in the run game, and he has to be a guy that finishes, getting quarterbacks on the ground. It's not just enough to affect them. He's got to get them on the ground.
All Jags, all NFL. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
As our man D-Rock in the first hour today talking about Trayvon Walker and, areas he needs to improve. And Trayvon himself, knows sacks. That's the number everybody's looking for. How many do you have? You can impact the game, but that's the ultimate impact. That's why those guys, I don't think it's any coincidence that the sack leaders get paid the most among the players who play outside linebacker in a 3-4 or defensive end in a 4-3. Well, we got a moment. Why don't we take a quick tour around the National Football League?
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
All right, just a few quick stories for you. NFL owners voted yesterday, including a positive vote from the Jags, to approve a resolution that allows players to fair catch on kickoffs, with the resulting possession beginning at the team's own 25-yard line, just like college football does. The new rule specifies the fair catch off a free kick, whether that's a safety or a kickoff, has to occur behind the team's 25-yard line, and they'll get it out at the 25 if they choose to go that route. The rule change is for 1 year only, with the league citing player safety as a reason for its proposal, and reportedly it passed by a vote of 26-5 to 1 is how it came out. New York Jets fans got a scare yesterday as newly acquired quarterback Aaron Rodgers sat out of OTA drills with a leg injury. Rodgers apparently just tweaked a calf muscle while running before practice. He's expected to be fine. And 7-time Pro Bowl running back Adrian Peterson says he's not officially retired. He's LeBron's age right now. Hasn't exactly played on LeBron's level lately. In fact, hasn't played at all since 2021. AP said, quote, mentally, I haven't officially hung it up. We'll see what happens. My mindset is if God's willing, maybe an opportunity presents itself. Maybe it happens this season. I'll go from there. But if nothing happens this season, for sure, I'll be hanging it up. In other words, I'll take one more paycheck, please.
Right.
If I could get, hey, I don't blame him.
Nope.
You know, somebody wants to pay me, couple $1 million to come in and carry the ball 30 times, because last time he played, he wasn't very much utilized, and I think the time has passed.
Oh, yeah.
The 38-year-old running back, LeBron, it's so silly to even think that, he's not a top guy. I heard Neil O'Brien, totally mischaracterized, by the way, our conversation on was it yesterday? Right? Because the Lakers lost on Monday night, right?
Right.
Game 4. And you and I was getting on your case just because I know you like LeBron.
Right.
And I like to twist the knife. And that's who I am. And she's like, ET had to defend that LeBron isn't washed to Mike. I'm like, you totally did not understand the conversation. Like I even said, it's crazy. People are calling him LeBum. He's one of the best players in the league. But it's just, especially – whenever LeBron fails to do anything, Jordan fans go crazy.
Absolutely.
And I love the whole, and I know this is not Jaguar related, but I mean, come on. I love the whole, he's got more rings. So then Bill Russell's the greatest of all time, you're saying, right? I mean, because he had 11 in 13 years. And so clearly, Michael's about half the player Bill Russell was by your standard. So.
And Robert Horry is also a better player.
Robert Horry has 7, baby. Yeah. Seven. My all-time favorite theme we ever came up with for a show was whose career would you rather have had, Robert Horry or Charles Barkley? Tells me a lot about what your priorities are. You want to be famous or you want to be a winner? That's what Robert Horry, by the way, made over $70 million. He ain't poor.
Yeah, Big Shot Bob.
I mean, Big Shot Bob, no doubt. Give me Robert Horry's career all day long over Chuck. But anyway, Double D, final few minutes here with you today. What do you think about this fair catching on the kickoffs? I mean, the Jags have one of the real weapons in Jamal Agnew in the return game, one of the best in the league. They voted for this. That doesn't mean if you catch the kickoff at the 1 or 2 yard line that you can't take it, or if you catch it in the end zone, if you fair catch it, that you wouldn't take it out at the 25. It still gives you the option to break one. But how do you feel about this? Just the idea that maybe this eliminates some kickoffs. Some people think it will result in more teams squib kicking, and therefore it will actually result in more returns. What do you think about this news?
I don't think it really is going to make too much of a big difference. I mean, I think the number one reason why they're starting these things is for safety. They wanted to try to eliminate, the guys coming, rushing into the pile, and so now you can't have 2 or more guys together when they're blocking. So I think all of this has to do with, number one, safety. They want to try to just say, okay, how can we just line this thing back up, and then you just kind of go from there. And so you mentioned squib kicking. That could be a strategy to kind of get around guys, but when you squib kick, that's not something you normally practice. So you don't know where that ball is going to land up exactly and how blocks are going to be, connected. And so it can throw your timing off as a kickoff team if you result to squib kick. So I don't think it's too much of a big deal. I think it's more for a safety reason than anything.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you think we'll see one day the elimination of kickoffs in the NFL?
I may not doubt it. If you get some major injuries or whatever, and they start piling up, I think they'll just limit it and say, hey, let's start at the 25. That's not a bad thing. I mean, where it used to be back in the day, where you're running into the pile, the wedge as they would call it, and you knew you're going to get a concussion during that game running into the wedge, because they'll put offensive linemen, 290 and 330 pound guys back there versus and the guys running into it is about a guy 210 pounds, 215 pounds. I mean, it's just a total mismatch. And so if they did outrule it, I think it's for safety and nothing else. And it doesn't really change the game that much. Now, granted, last year, what was it, with the Buffalo Bills, they had 2 kickoff returns they ran back. I mean, it can change the game significantly.
Absolutely.
It can change the game significantly, but I think teams now are saying, you know what, we should be able to start at the 20 or 25 and be able to create a drive to create some score, whether if it's not 7, it's 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, for a lot, depending on the circumstance, teams would love to take it at the 25 a lot of times. For me, I'm pretty confident Jamal Agnew, if you give him 10 returns, he's going to break a couple of them across the 50-yard line.
Well, all you're doing is just giving him an opportunity to say, hey, we feel that starting at the 25 as a guarantee is better than –
Oh, no doubt, right? And, teams have tried, the mortar kick, the shorter kickoffs that are kind of like the pop-up just to keep it away from the primary return guy, and maybe that eliminates that a little bit, and they'll have to decide, do we want to squib it? Do we want to kick it deep, take our chances, and whatever the case may be.
My question, if you do one of those mortar kicks and he catches it on the 30, but he fair catches it because it's a big guy, do you get it at the 30 or
he gets
it
at the
25?
30. No, you'd get it.
Okay.
Anything outside the 25, you'd get it where you catch it. Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, that would be.
Well, somebody probably asked. They had to ask that question when they were going.
Well, that's why they specifically said the ball, you got to catch it short of the 25-yard line to get it placed at the 25. I think it's anything, but the mortar kicks, I think they try to, do them to the 15 or the 10 or and kick it to a guy who's really out there to block, right? And so that, in that case, if you're that guy, you fair catch it, and you're like, all right, I'll take the 25-yard line. I think you'll see a lot of that if they go that route. All right, what do you got coming up other than camps, man? What's on the agenda for you?
Yep. So I got an event I'm doing in June here with FSCJ. They're doing a career kind of kickoff for high school and collegiate kids. So I'll be preparing to speak at that. Besides the camps, just some other family engagement stuff. So.
All right. Well, Double D, appreciate you coming in.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all have a good one, man.
Have a good week. Take care of business, and you continue to hear about the opportunities to get kids into Donovan's camps throughout the course of the summer.
DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
There you go, Betty. Appreciate you. We'll come back, me and ET, wrap this one up with a look at the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Who is the most improved player going to be on the Jags defense this year? We'll discuss next on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's another Waste Management Wednesday in the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios on 1010XL.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
This Memorial Day, Navy Mutual would like to salute Bobby Jones. Jones joined the Army Air Forces during World War II. He left the service as a lieutenant colonel and became one of the most famous golfers ever, even co-founding the Masters.
Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org.
Black Sheep Restaurant has been serving up delicious food and drinks to the community for 13 amazing years. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. We want to thank Jacksonville for your unwavering support throughout the years. Our last shift will be on May 27th. It's been an honor to be a part of the Jacksonville food scene, and we hope to see you at Bellwether and Orsay. Thank you for your patronage, and let's make these last days at Black Sheep unforgettable.
The IRS has just received $80 billion in funding to hire additional agents for aggressive collections enforcement. If you owe the IRS, now is the time to take action before the IRS comes after you or your Tax Law, a firm right here in Jacksonville, for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
He was number 55, and he's still our middle linebacker.
You're gonna lose.
Tom McManus.
It was like he didn't know what to do.
Friday from 10 to noon, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Get ready for Memorial Day weekend grilling at Southern Steer Butcher. Buy any combo pack and get 2 free pounds of chicken, or get 5 pounds or more of steak tips for just $16.99 per pound.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Dave Binion here with Zero Res. I love living in Jacksonville, where we have so many families who serve or have served in the military. I am so grateful for their sacrifice to keep us safe. If you have a family member who is on active duty or is a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res. Right now, get a 25% military discount on everything we clean. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile and grout, upholstery, or oriental rugs. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. Drivers and heavy truck mechanics, if you like sports, then you're going to love working at Waste Management.
We have a team atmosphere here where we're looking out for one another. We jump in to help out.
Listen up. WM is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for jobs at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
It's camaraderie. It's everything. I like it.
Steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous boot and tool allowance.
Plus, over-the-top benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and home every day.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics. Apply online at wm.com/careers. That's wm.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people first, military friendly, equal opportunity employer.
We are WM.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring salespeople right now. If you want to sell new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound and Security is looking for you. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring for sales positions, and they will train you to be successful. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. That's 762-1000. Hiring for sales positions right now. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
We've been telling you for almost a year about Nathan's Family Chiropractic and the 100-Year Lifestyle Network. If chronic back or joint pain is keeping you down, don't listen to me. Listen to what Jacksonville is saying about Dr. Alan Nathans.
The stem cell treatment took the pain away.
Changed my life. It's awesome.
Your body just works better when it's aligned. We're believers.
His no-needle regenerative protocols are giving people their lives back. Get yours back, too. Go to the pro in the know. Don't do another cortisone injection. He's one of us helping all of us for the past 25 years. For more info, drnathans.com.
You down with JAG?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with JAG?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with JAG?
Yeah, you know me.
Who's down with JAG?
The Bold City. 1010XL, proud flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, ET and I are going to break it down in a moment here on who we expect improvement from on the defense. I'm that guy about this show. I'm late to the party person. I hear Prosser do this all the time. You know, I watched this movie for the first time, and it's from like 1997, right? But everyone was telling me while this show was on, you got to watch The Good Place. You got to watch The Good Place because one of the characters is just like an obsessive Jacksonville Jaguars fan, and it's really pretty good. I'm down to like an episode and a half left. It's on Netflix if you have Netflix, and it did end in 2020, so it's not that many years old. But ET, they're at a party, and Jason, who's the Jaguar guy, and they're at this party that is like their dream party, kind of like in heaven, right? And everyone's wearing Jaguar gear, logos from like the 90s through the current one, the whole thing. And he's drinking something, I think it's in that scene where he's drinking something called a Duval ditch water.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because everything's Duval, Bortles, Foles, Minshew, whoever the quarterback is. And a Duval ditch water, I want to say, was vodka, Coffee Mate, and ditch water.
I'll pass.
It's hilarious. Well, obviously. I mean, but there's so many things. He goes, what did he call that? He goes, when you have basically inappropriate relationships to get out of trouble with somebody, you may offer to date them, whatever. I'll put that nicely. He goes, that's called a Jacksonville plea bargain.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
There are a lot of good lines in there that, I missed out on when it was happening, because I'm that guy. People tell me, oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. I don't know. And that was a network show, I believe. I don't watch, it was an NBC show. I never watch anything on network TV. But, it came to Netflix. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was telling E.T., the movie Heat is on there. I know you had never seen The Untouchables, not the Goodfellas.
Correct.
Before. Have you seen Untouchables, by the way? Kevin Costner is it's an old one.
Nope.
Anyway, you like Heat. Heat's good. De Niro, Pacino, Val Kilmer, bunch of other people.
Is it one of them? Is it an old school movie?
It's from the 90s. Okay. It's like a heist, cops and Pacino's the cop trying to catch De Niro.
Right.
And it's really, really a long movie, man. But that just popped up on Netflix recently. All right, today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, asking you which defensive player for the Jaguars will show the most improvement. Who do you predict, not who you want it to be? And I got a lot of those answers of what needs to be Trayvon. Okay, maybe that's the case, but if you think it's Trayvon, say it's Trayvon. And many of them did say Trayvon Walker. O'Greasy, for instance, Trayvon Walker will explode upon the scene with smart, impactful plays all season, including double-digit sacks. Take that in a heartbeat, man. What would you take? What's a good year in the sack department from Trayvon Walker this year, in your opinion, E?
8.
8. That's what I'm thinking too, right? Like if it's 8 or above,
8 or above, yeah.
We're heading in the right direction with Trayvon. I agree with you on that. Going through the depth chart. Let's just go name by name on the starters who we think is likely to show a big improvement.
Okay.
All right. Roy Robertson Harris.
Probably the same.
I'd say right.
Yeah.
Like he played well. If he maintains what he did in the last 5 or 6 games, great. Right?
Yep.
And I think that's why the Jags extended him for that level of play, not necessarily expecting that he's going to be that much better. Devon Hamilton. It needs to be ascending, right?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And, we talked about when he signed that deal, you see what, like, Daron Payne got. Now, I'm not saying he's as impactful as Daron Payne, but the market for a good defensive tackle has gotten expensive. And if Devon Hamilton does take a decent step in the right direction, and I don't think he's ever going to be a big sack guy, playing as a nose, but that contract may look like a bargain in the next few years. What about Foley Fatukasi?
He needs to step it up.
Got to be better, right?
Yep.
And I think health is a big part of that. But we're expecting him to be a force.
Good.
Like a guy like the Great Wall of Duval kind of here with these guys. Like, running against his team should be near impossible. That feeling, anyway.
Right.
Josh Allen.
That definitely has to go up.
Do you think it will?
I can't say no. I mean, I can't say yes.
Right.
Like,
yes. I think Josh Allen may be who he is,
right.
He
is who we thought he is.
He's a good player. Like, the metrics people, the PFFs, they grade him well as an all-around outside linebacker / D-end, what have you. But I don't know. I mean, I'd love it if Josh Allen has a dozen sacks this year. I would think Trayvon Walker increases his sack total more than Josh does. Now, granted, Trayvon has more room for improvement in that total as well. Oluwakin.
He can't go. I mean, he's led the league in tackles
right.
twice. What more can he do?
I know Doug's saying, look, he's going to be more comfortable. Second year in the offense, you can't overlook that. Or the defense, you can't overlook that. And that's true, right? But I don't know statistically if we're going to look and go, wow, Foye took a major step forward here, unless he's creating crazy amounts of turnovers, something like that. Devin Lloyd's got to be an obvious yes. Got to go. I think he will go up. I mean, like, to what degree, I think, is the question, these guys. I think Devin Lloyd, I'd be surprised. He's not going to regress, I don't believe. He's young. He's talented. They drafted him for a reason. He'll be more comfortable. I think he's in a good position to improve. And if you want to look at Muma as kind of a co-starter or a depth, same thing, right? And Tyson Campbell.
That might be the hardest one. I think
he's 23, though, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He's so young. He just turned 23 in March. Like, we're talking about how young Trevor is, and he turns, like, 24 in, like, October. I mean, Tyson will turn 24 next off season. I mean, I think because he's the best we've got.
Right.
We have a hard time thinking he's going to take a major leap, but
exactly,
bro, he can go for. What did he have? 3 picks last year.
He could go for 6, 7.
Go. I mean, 6 would be fantastic, right? And I think you could put Cisco in that camp as well, and that's kind of what got us thinking about this. You know, him going around all beefed up now.
That's who I think who will ascend the most.
You think that'll be the guy? I think Rayshawn is like, boy, if he can maintain what he did, mixing in the big plays, you know. Earn that captaincy back for the start of the season. It was interesting. He talked about how that really bothered him.
He won it.
So I think he's kind of in the Roy Robertson Harris category. Like, give me what you gave me, and you're always looking to improve. But I don't know how much higher the ceiling gets.
Is it a step or is it a huge jump?
Right. I think Darius Williams is a great candidate for this. Right.
It is. Yeah.
Playing outside from the jump the whole year, being more comfortable. All right, so why is it Cisco for you?
We've been parading for this guy and saying how much he's a ball hawk and he's this and that, and he showed glimpses. Remember the first year we were always like, why isn't this guy playing more? Because when he's in the game, and there was like a couple of instances like he made a play, but he just wasn't in the game as much. And last year he made a little jump. But I feel like this year, so I'll say last year he made a step. I feel like this year is going to be a jump because he's more comfortable. He's the free safety, so he can roam. He can see the field more, and I just think that it's set up for him to make that step.
And we know he was a ball hawk in college, right? Like he's the kind of guy you come in, you see, all right, one day Andre Cisco could lead all safeties in interceptions. Maybe not all defensive backs, but you could see him being that kind of guy, 6, 7, 8 picks. I mean, he had 3 last year.
Couple forced fumbles, maybe.
Right. So I get that. I think if you look at Devin Lloyd's stats, and we've talked about this a lot. Just you look at the numbers, and you're like, that's a pretty good rookie season, right? In terms of tackles, assists, combined, he had 115 combined tackles and assists. That's playing next to the league's leading tackler.
And
who's sucking a lot of oxygen out. He got turnover, right? I mean, so he had the 3 interceptions, and he had 2 fumble recoveries. So he's around the ball. But I still feel like, for me, it's Devin Lloyd.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. Like, I think the numbers are a little deceiving, right? Because I think he started out so hot. And, defensive rookie of the month for the whole league.
Yep.
Or what was AFC might have just been you get the point, right? I mean, still, that's pretty impressive right out of the gates. And then he kind of regressed, and he got to the point where you're like, wow, I mean, you're questioning, did the better player get picked in round 3? And I think it was I don't think the organization feels that way. I'm not saying they're down on Chad Muma, but we're just a year removed from them packaging up the first picks in rounds 2, 4, and 6 together to move up 10, 12 spots, whatever it was, in order to take Devin Lloyd. I think the whole newness of it coming in, knowing what to expect, the newness is gone. Having the stability for all these guys, I think, playing basically next to the guys they were playing next to last year, year 2 of the same defensive coordinator system, is going to help everybody potentially. But for me, it's Devin Lloyd that I think will take that bigger leap. And I think by the end of the year, at least that's what I project, that he'll be a no-question core piece of what you're looking at going forward. Like, oh, we got this guy. And you start to run the numbers because Foye is in the second year going into a 3-year deal, I believe, is where he's at. So, I think ideally, look, if the salary cap rises enough, you love to keep everybody together, right? If they have success. But you could see a couple years down the line, all right, Foye is making $15 million, and now it's the Lloyd and Muma show on the inside, and they're both playmakers, and now, you're looking at going, oh, so Ventrell Miller takes a step up the depth chart, guys like that potentially, and I do think we're going to look at Devin Lloyd completely differently by the end of the year. At least I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I think so.
Double D out the door. A lot of Cisco, a lot of Lloyd, a lot of Walker. What else did we get here? Did get some Darius Williams. Arden Key. Oops, wait. That was from Brett. The city's taken a step back overall with Arden Key being gone. Those are really the four that most people focused on, and I would say still it was heavy Trayvon Walker, Lloyd, a strong second. There was probably a couple in there for Tyson Campbell as well, man. If a guy who is arguably your best player on that side of the ball is also a candidate to be your most improved player, that could be, you can look at that a couple ways. You can go, wow, maybe your team overall is not very good on that side of the ball, right? If even your best guy has that much room for improvement, but I think it's a positive that he's as young as he is. And we saw from year one to year two, he didn't completely wipe it out, but he definitely lowered the amount of instances where he got caught watching the receiver and having balls completed over his head,
Mm-hmm.
And that was something we focused on heavy during his rookie season. I think he made that correction. It wasn't perfect. I think you'll see even better in that category, and now I think you'll see when he gets to the point where he's feeling more comfortable, and if we could get a little pass rush up front, that's a big question too. That's we project, could Cisco get 6 picks? Could Tyson get 6 or 7? It all comes back to who's getting pressure up front, because coverage is great, but it's tilted towards the pass rush for me, making that impact. All right, so appreciate those who weighed in on this. We'll get Mia O'Brien's opinion on it here in a moment as we wrap up today and welcome in XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit TireOutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, hello, Mia O'Brien. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
All right, day off from OTAs. So, it's OTAs. We're not trying to make it to be anything more than it is, but give me something that has positively caught your eye in the first couple of days.
Yeah, Doug Peterson stressed that he wanted 0 to minimal dropped passes between Trevor and the wide receivers up until the final team period on Monday. I indeed saw 0. And additionally, I thought, everyone wants to talk about Calvin Ridley, but I thought Christian Kirk looked as crisp as anybody out there. The one catch he caught over the seam, it was a wow catch. And quite frankly, it's a catch that sometimes maybe they missed. We saw them connect in the Washington opener on that exact play for a big 50-yard gain. But as we all know, down the sideline against Kansas City, Week 10, it didn't happen, and that changed the trajectory of that game. I firmly believe the Jags could have stolen one there if the momentum had kept rolling after the onside kick. And so good to see those two, who we already know have a great rapport, but to really see an elite connection between them.
All right, we know the Jags, if they're going to go as far as they possibly can, need to improve defensively, right?
Yes.
And the offense right now, everyone would say that's the stronger of the two sides of the ball. Which player, not who needs to, but who do you think makes the biggest improvement from 2022 to 2023?
On defense.
On defense, specifically.
I don't think people are going to like when I say this, but I just think Tyson Campbell's going to jump to top 5 corner if he's not already
why wouldn't
there.
anybody like that?
I think people want to hear, one of those second-year players.
Yeah, they want it to be that, but I mean, that's not. Look, we were just talking about that right before you walked in, so you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Look, Tyson Campbell's arguably the best player on defense for this team, arguably, right?
Yes.
And if your best player can be also the guy who makes the biggest improvement, I don't disagree with you. I picked Devin Lloyd because thought he regressed as the season went on, but I think we're going to see what they thought they saw in him when they drafted him. But, Tyson made that adjustment to be able to more often turn back, find the football. Wasn't perfect, but he gets to that point where he's much more comfortable doing that, I think you're going to start to see the turnovers rise.
I just feel like we spent the last 2 days, and maybe it's the now viral clip of Rick Ballou with Andre Sisco talking about.
That's what got us on this question,
his
honestly.
Physical improvements. Honestly, I saw Tyson standing next to Deshae Townsend, and I said to Coach Campo, I go, look, I know Deshae is a 5'10" guy, but he played in the league for 10 years and was pretty darn good at the corner position. Tyson looks a full head taller than him, much more built out in terms of his frame, and he's got the same footwork. I mean, you know, as a guy who played in the league for 10 years alongside some elite corners in a Pittsburgh system that won 2 Super Bowls. And so, you know, that said to me, like, wow, a lot of these guys have been hitting the gym. And, yeah, I think that especially being on a elite team will help Tyson Campbell get the Pro Bowl votes, the All-Pro votes that he probably deserved last year.
Well, and if the offense is as good as we think it might be, as many have pointed out, you play with leads. That's a pass rusher's dream scenario. And even with not great pass rush, when you can pin your ears back and you know it's coming, that you are in that situation where they've got to pass, it's going to make more opportunities for you to put pressure.
Right. One other thing on Devin Lloyd that I think people forget is, and Doug talked about the rookie wall, but that was with regards to Luke Fortner and how he seemingly never hit a rookie wall. I think we dismiss the fact that, and I've heard a lot of people say this over the last few days, going from your senior or final year of college into your rookie year of the NFL is one of the longest years of your life because you do not stop. And so I think Devin Lloyd, especially coming off of a Utah senior season in which they went to the Rose Bowl and they were the Pac-12 champs and there was so much going on, and then he's going into draft process. Like, I think it caught up, especially when he's asked to do a lot here in Jacksonville and could be asked to do more in this upcoming season.
All right, so what are you guys talking about today?
Of course, we'll talk fallout of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals last night. The Celtics keep it alive, but I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. I woke up this morning, I scrolled Twitter because I actually fell asleep on the couch and didn't finish watching the whole game. I'm scrolling Twitter. I didn't even know until I was halfway on my commute here, and I was like, I got to look and see if the Celtics actually held on. So no one's talking about it because everyone thinks South Florida, now the kings of the NBA and the NHL. Who would have thunk that a couple months ago? We'll also, of course, touch on the Jags, OTAs, all that good stuff, but we also are going to start our top 25 countdowns rankings, best college quarterbacks of all time. JJ's also brewing up a little best quarterback and coach combination of all time. So we're going to have some fun over these next few weeks. I know a lot of Jags fans are dreading the fact that the dead period is shortly coming once we're complete with off-season workouts, but we're going to have some fun on XL.
That's what vacation's for, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
all right, Mia, have a good
more.
show.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, there you go. XL Primetime coming your way for the next 3 hours. Thanks to Donovan Darius for sitting in with us for most of the show today. Mike DeRocco, ESPN Jaguar reporter, for joining us. And, of course, my man E.T. Fat Tony will be on assignment until next Tuesday. For all the aforementioned, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thanks again for listening to Jaguars Today. We'll do it again tomorrow from 10 to noon here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's not the Jaguars anymore. Like, it's the mother effing Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a Waste Management Wednesday on Jaguars Today.
This is Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
JOI, where the pros go.
I'm Doug Flutie from Boston College.
Throws it down.
And this is 1010X.